over the past couple of hours. According to sources on the ground, thousands of protesters near a major square in Tehran called Vanak Square, walking up and down Vali Ash, another major thoroughfare near that square, chanting death to the dictator, also chanting God is great. Also there, according to sources, hundreds of security forces, members of the besieged, the volunteer militia, riding in pairs on motorcycles. The typical game of cat and mouse. Sources telling CNN they are charging protesters on the sidewalks when they are hearing these chants. Perhaps the biggest development is, according to Fars News, the state-run news agency, among the protesters tonight, Mehdi Karoubi. This was an opposition candidate defeated in the June 12th elections. And there you see him with a white turban. This is a man who was a government official and was missing from the ceremonies earlier today. Again, this was an opposition candidate who was defeated on June 12th, and according to Fars News, he was at the protest near Vanak Square tonight, a protest Fars News labeled illegal. So an interesting development there. Mehdi Karoubi not showing up to the ceremony earlier this morning, but showing up to the protest. Of course, the other big story today was the endorsement by the Supreme Leader. This was supposed to be President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's day. And there you see what appears to be kind of a hesitation when they go in. A lot of people focusing in on the interaction between these two men after a lot of talk of a rift between them. Of course, last Friday, the president dismissed the talks of a rift, saying he was like my father, but kind of an awkward greeting there, much different than we saw in 2005. Again, this was supposed to be the president's day, but late tonight in Iran, the opposition movement saying we're not going away, even with the Supreme Leader endorsing the president's second term.
And Rosa, you know, as you mentioned, some senior officials, notable senior officials, staying away from this endorsement ceremony earlier in the day. Can I ask, what kind of ride can this government expect in Parliament?
Well, it's going to be interesting because 2 days from now, you're going to have the swearing-in ceremony in Parliament. And many hardliners in Parliament, many conservative lawmakers have been very critical of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, especially after that controversial VP pick. They've been criticizing him. So he's going to have 2 weeks after Wednesday to put together a cabinet, select his ministers. So it'll be very interesting to see if the Parliament accepts his picks, if the picks are from his inner circles. Over the past few days, the parliamentarians, the lawmakers reminded President Ahmadinejad that he wouldn't be reelected without their support, without the Supreme Leader's support, perhaps a message that when he goes out and picks his ministers, to keep them in mind. It's going to be an interesting few days. Also, a lot of buzz that there will be more protest on Wednesday after his swearing-in ceremony as well, Fanoula.
All right, we'll expect